Check it out, Casper!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about what can we expect to happen to Team Fortress 2 in 2015. And I'm very confident that there's going to be some very cool things happening. I'm going to divide this video into a few sort of sections of things that are going to happen. One of the things I think that's going to happen is Source 2. That's a new engine for the game and other Valve games. I also think the Spy vs Engineer update is going to land this year. There's competitive matchmaking, which is almost definitely coming very soon. I think there's going to be in-game streaming, which is sort of already in Steam at the moment, but I will expand on that later. And I also think there's going to be plenty of cosmetics being added to the game. Weapons? Maybe. So let's start with Source 2. What we know is happening this year on Valve's agenda is the Steam machines are landing in November 2015, this year. You can see this on the Steam machines page. This page went up on Steam quite a while ago, quite a few months. I think it even went up last year sometime. So Valve have announced here's when the Steam machines are going to land. And I see no reason why this date would change. I mean, they're all just pre-existing hardware. The only new thing in these Steam machines is the fact they're running Steam OS. That's Steam's own operating system, Steam's version of Windows, Steam's version of macOS. It's basically just centered around playing your games on Steam. So why are you talking about Steam OS and Steam machines, Casper? We're here to talk about Source 2. Well, I think it makes a lot of sense when Valve are coming out with this huge software update, Steam OS, that another software update is probably going to be tied into it in some way. I mean, they're coming out with Steam OS. That means that Steam itself is going to get a revamp, and all of Steam's own games, Valve's own games, Team Fortress 2, Dota 2, CSGO, I think it makes sense that the engine would come out around the same time. We already know that the engine is definitely confirmed to be being worked on. We also know that there's files that already exist in Dota 2 with the name Source 2, or basically files that say this is getting ready for a new engine. So I'm very confident that this is going to come this year. And that's going to bring a lot of cool things for TF2 with it. Skip into what I think is the most exciting thing for Team Fortress as a whole, not necessarily me personally, and that is competitive matchmaking. So for those of you that don't know, a few guys who run X Television or are associated with the competitive Team Fortress community actually went to Valve's offices quite recently, and basically Valve said, here's what we're working on. It's a competitive matchmaking system. Something like what you get in Counter-Strike Go. So if you haven't played that, it's basically you go into a little lobby system, and based on your current rank, it matches you up with the game, and you play competitively, you play seriously. You don't just mess around like you do in pubs, you switch class all the time, you stab, or do troll teleporters and all this stuff. This is serious people, and basically what the system I think will probably try and do is rank you. So the more games you win, or the better you do in a particular game, the higher your rank, and then you play against higher ranked players. This is long overdue in Team Fortress 2, and the fact that Valve have all but officially confirmed that this is definitely coming is great. If you actually watch X Television's video, they believe that this is going to come in the next couple of months. So that would be awesome. And I don't think this update would come on its own. I think there will be other stuff with it. I don't think the Spy vs Engineer update would come with it because they're not really connected, but I do think that there might be some cosmetics. There'll almost definitely be things like medals or badges to represent how your competitive in-game career is progressing. And I think that's something that everyone should look forward to. Not just people who want to play competitive, but it really shows that the devs care about this game still, and they are still working. I mean, this is a huge feature, and the guys from X Television said when they went there, a lot of this was already built. So you might be wondering why the developers have been so quiet recently. Well, this could be part of it. Moving on to the thing that excites me personally is, of course, the Spy vs Engineer update. I did a video on this a while ago, and what we know already is that these files are already in the game. Not a complete update, but quite a lot of things that have got Spy vs Engineer in the name, and new weapon abilities that didn't previously exist. In this same code that I showed that was leaked in the, or rather discovered in the Spy vs Engineer video, was the matchmaking code. So the fact that this matchmaking service is coming probably quite soon, it also implies that the Spy vs Engineer update is probably in a similar stage of completion. On top of that, Valve haven't done a big update like this in a long time. It's long overdue, and yes, the matchmaking update is going to be a big update, but it's not really related to content such as new maps, new weapons, new hats necessarily. So I'm fairly confident that we will see this before the end of the year. Here's something that I noticed recently in a Team Fortress 2 update. On the Wikipedia it says that they added a new medal for the Tip of the Hat. So Tip of the Hat is an awesome charity event that runs every year. Basically a bunch of Team Fortress 2 air quotes, celebrities get together and they stream and they raise money for charity. It's a really fun event. There's lots of random stuff. There's rocket jumping, there's public matches, there's competitive matches. It's really entertaining. You sit there in the chat with all the other people watching it. Literally thousands of people tune in. It was on the front page of Twitch last year. That's how big it was. Recently an item added to the game, the Jaunty Pin 2015, and I found the description very interesting. The Jaunty Pin 2015 is awarded in genuine quality to players who donate to the One Step Camp during Tip of the Hat 2015. Great, that's fine. That's how it's always been. This charity One Step Camp is what Tip of the Hats is for, and they always take donations. That's how they get the money. But what I found interesting is that this item is awarded to people who donate. So typically this event has been on Twitch. So if you donate, there's no tie to your Steam account. But this, obviously, in order for them to know that you have donated, it must be in some way connected to your Steam account. So I could be reading too much into this. There could just be a donate via Steam button added onto the stream this year. But it's also possible that they're going to add some sort of watch someone streaming in Team Fortress 2. So just like what I think you have in CSGO, you can actually spectate people almost like STV, a Source TV, while they're playing. I think something like this is going to become straight into the homepage of Team Fortress 2. So you boot up your game and there'll be live streams right there. This is already sort of existing in Steam at the moment, although I don't really know how popular it is. I've never used it. I don't know anyone who has. But if this is right on there when you open up Team Fortress 2, you'll see Tip of the Hat's charity stream featuring Star and Germa, 60,000 viewers. You're much more likely to go, shall I watch that or play a game? Oh, yeah, I might watch that. I'm reasonably confident that that's going to come in with the matchmaking system that we talked about earlier, and then obviously it will be utilized for things like this. The final thing I think we'll see in 2015, and this is just sort of no particular time in 2015, we will see more hats, I think, obviously. We will see more community updates. So these will be things like the Robotic Boogaloo, where basically it's an update entirely created by the community. We'll also see Halloween and Christmas updates like we always have. I think there'll be a big event for Halloween again. Loads more stupid Halloween-based cosmetics, a bit jokey. A big event where you fight a boss on an alternate version of a regular map. And then, of course, Christmas. We'll see Christmas-based weapons, festive weapons, and maybe some giveaways of crates and keys like they often do around that time. So that's my lowdown. I think we've got a lot of things to look forward to. If you think there's something coming that I haven't touched on, please let me know. I want to know what's coming in 2015. These are mostly assumptions. Some of them are based on a lot of evidence. Thanks everybody for watching. If you found it entertaining and you're not already a subscriber, of course, please subscribe. We do this sort of thing all the time. Thanks for watching, everyone.
I don't know what it is. Someone told me I'm precious. If that ain't fair, I don't know what it is.